And we're back. I'm David Perry, and you're watching 10%. Today's show is all about Sausalito Artists Work and the incredible work going on in a converted World War II ship factory right across the Golden Gate Bridge. Our next guest, Cynthia Duncan. Welcome.
Hello.
Now, before the cameras went on, you told me that you define yourself as an abstract expressionist.
Yes.
What on earth is an abstract expressionist? I've been in the arts all my life, and I've always wanted to ask that question because I felt stupid for not knowing the definition.
Well, I mean, for me, an abstract expressionist in the common way sense is instant. You know, Jackson Pollock was an abstract expressionist painter, and you know, it's what the emotion of that moment created. It's the closest thing that will explain my work for people, because my work is it is instant, but it's also drawn out. So it's built up. I could take weeks and days to do a painting, but it's still about, you know, emotion, thought.
Right. So it's not so much about a style as it is about a feeling.
Yes, absolutely.
So, but you, like, for instance, you mentioned Jackson Pollock, one of the most famous modern artists of the 20th century, and his work, a lot of people say, well, that looks like a bunch of splashes and dots and whatnot. How do you find out, and let's take Jackson Pollock and then talk about your work, when you see that splat, and that's about how Jackson Pollock was feeling at that moment, how does one know what he was feeling at that moment?
I actually don't think it matters. I think artwork should resonate with you, or it shouldn't, and I don't think you really should have to work too hard. That's my philosophy.
Right. There's been a controversy recently, I'm sure you followed in the art world, that someone said they actually found a hitherto undiscovered Jackson Pollock in the back of their garage, and there's this whole controversy now. The art experts say, no, that's really a bunch of paint splats, and this guy says it's a Jackson Pollock. What do you think of controversies like that? I mean, what is art?
Art's what you make of it. Art is what means something to the viewer. You know what? There are artists out there that just leave me cold, and that doesn't mean it's not art. It's just not what I would call art. And I'm quite sure people have the same, you know, impression about my work. But you know, I think it's about what it means to the viewer. Right.
Now, you grew up in England. And did you turn to your parents one day and say, I want to be an artist? And they said, well, that sounds like you're going to have a rough career. I mean,
oh, yes.
What was that like?
Oh, that was terrible. Yeah, no, that didn't fly at all. Yeah, didn't fly at all. So.
But you went and did it anyway.
I went and did it anyway. You know, I was set on a path, and I actually suddenly woke up one day and was miserable, and I thought, you know what, I have to do my art. That's the only way I'm going to go forward in my life, and so I did. And so,
did you study with someone? Were you self-taught? I mean,
I went to Heatherley School of Art in London, and then I had a mentor that was a close friend who was an artist, who actually got me going to see galleries and got me into the business side of, you know, understanding what I needed to do, the marketing side. So yeah, I mean, without that person, that was the person that really supported me.
Yeah, you mentioned something interesting, the marketing of art. I have met and have a number of friends who are artists, and a number of them, when you say, well, how do you market your art, they kind of get that look on their face like they smell something bad, like, well, I shouldn't have to market my art. I mean, people should just see it and buy it. But you say you actually studied the marketing of art. Do you think that's true, or you think artists need to be both marketers and artists?
I think it's a business. You know, it might as well be a big biro. You've got to have a market, and you've got to sell it. And, you know, unless you have a fairy godmother, or at least, you know, born with a silver spoon in your mouth,
right.
You know, you've got to get out there, and you have to market yourself.
Right. I mean, we're in a time of great financial upheaval. But I have read recently that the arts market is hotter than ever. I remember this summer, there was the San Francisco International Art Fair, which I attended, and someone came in off the street and bought a painting for $20,000, plopped it down, and when asked why, they said they thought this was a good investment. How do you know it's a good investment in art?
I don't know. Ask the experts.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I'm not an expert,
yeah.
And I don't have that sort of money to throw around. So, but yeah, I mean, I guess, you know, especially here in this in San Francisco, I would say it was more likely than not that was going to happen.
Right, right. Now, as an abstract expressionist, you say that, you know, it's of the moment. and something moves the artist to create. What moves you in general? If you had to say, is it a sound? Is it a feeling? Is it an experience? What makes you think I have to pick up the brushes or however it is you paint?
It's a feeling. It's an observation. I like to observe people, and you grow through life and you learn things about life and about other people, and I like to try and capture that. I mean, it's cathartic for me, in my process. It's difficult to explain, but that's what it's like. It's capturing an emotion, and it's very exciting for me.
Has there ever been a painting that you've done that was so emotional that you felt you couldn't sell it?
I've been very close to. I would want it to go. Let's put it this way: I would want it to go to somebody that really loved it.
Yeah. Because for you as an artist, it's important as part of the creative process to sell it or to shove it out there in the world, correct?
Yes. Any way you can.
Yeah.
Any opportunity.
Have you ever changed from being an abstract artist to more of a linear artist?
Well, I did all the disciplines, life drawing, you name it, and it didn't resonate with me. I mean, I can't capture a beautiful landscape, it just didn't. I couldn't express what I wanted to, and this is the most succinct way to interpret my emotions and thoughts.
This upcoming Sausalito Artists Work open studio for Labor Day is going to be the biggest yet. What do you think is unique about that space in which you work?
I think it's great because it's full of Sausalito artists, and you get to see artists working. It's not a
it's not a gallery.
Fair, it's not a gallery. Yeah. It's you actually get to see the artist and talk to the artist and watch them work and see their paintbrushes and what they do, and it's just interesting for local to see local artists, I think, for people.
Great. Well, we're going to see the work of Cynthia Duncan at Sausalito Artists Work, and next up we're going to speak with another of their artists, Kathleen McMahon. We'll be right back.